coming back to you on WTV60. And today we're going to talk about something that I like to call count your blessings. However, and many of us may be quite aware of this, life is full of shadows as they appear behind me, and of activities, exercises, people, events that have caused us stress and fear and sadness, and those cannot be discounted. We live in a very stressful situation in a time when many of us are experiencing a lot of anxiety about where we're going as a country and many other parts of getting older, our health, where we're going to live, how we're going to finance our elderhood. So I don't ever want to discount that. This is not airy-fairy. This is not about that. We are real women dealing with real situations in real time. And I honor that. I honor each and every one of your journeys. They are all unique, and we are all, especially now, trying to come to terms with some of the issues that we've been dealing with. And luckily, for some of us, we're able to let go of some of the pieces that used to cause us so much pain, anxiety, and distress. So today we're going to be talking about that, but we're also going to be doing an exercise that's a little bit more intense than some of the work that I have introduced to you. In my first filming, I talked about doing a repeating question about what it is that you want. And I highly recommend that those of you that perhaps didn't see that, do that exercise. Again, you can record it, you can write it down. It's a simple repeating question. If you have someone else in the room that can help you with that, just have them ask you, what do you want? And then they say thank you after you speak. And you repeat, what do you want? And then the person says thank you. They stay completely neutral. This is not about advice. This is about finding out really in your heart of hearts, your deep soul, what it is you want. So when I did this the last time with Dorothy, what I realized is I want a closer connection with my daughter. And I have achieved it. She and I are definitely talking more, we're definitely sharing more. So sometimes all it takes is awareness. Awareness of what it is you really want. And then you can count your blessing. The next exercise I had you do as part of opening to love and being in a place where possibly you could call in someone is to ask yourself the repeating question, what do I need? Again, the other person says thank you, or if you're doing it on your own, you just repeat that question. What do I need? And don't ask, what do I truly need? What do I really, just what do I need? Stay neutral and keep going further into the question. What do I need? What do I need? Again, your heart will reveal itself. Our body has all the answers. Body-mind connection. I'm not discounting the mind, but the body holds a lot of this information in our cells and in some of the beliefs that we constructed growing up. And that's where we're going to go now. So the exercise for today is more about the mind and how we hold things about the emotions, about what happened to us as a young person, as a child. So in your childhood, last time I asked you to remember a happy memory. Today I'm going to ask you to try to find one, not necessarily the worst or the hardest for you, but an event where you remember being really unhappy, where you remember feeling alone or ostracized or taken advantage of. In some way, somebody had hurt you, or you'd hurt yourself. Important for this exercise to not go into too much story around it. Don't try to blame or shame or cause yourself more grief. It's not about re-traumatizing. It's just about allowing yourself to remember an incident so that we can look at what you got from it. What was the benefit of that incident's issue? So some of us, when we have somebody attack us, we do a certain thing. So that's what we're going to look at today. So let's say somebody yelled at you, for instance, and it was a repetitive thing. It was possibly a parent. You were yelled at. And when you were yelled at, the way you dealt with it was going into your room and isolating yourself. Again, this is only one mechanism. I'm not talking about it as a universal. We all have different ways of coping that we have created for ourselves over time. So if you went into your room, maybe you isolated. Maybe you read books, went into fantasy. Maybe you played with your toys, but for hours on end, not letting anybody in. Maybe you locked the door so nobody could come around. Again, I'm just talking about one mechanism. You're each going to find within you your coping strategy. So to rephrase, you find an incident, something that happened that hurt you. You then look at how you coped with that event. And then, this is the interesting question. This is the one that confounds the mind a little bit and gets to the reality. What was the benefit of doing that? What did you get out of that behavior, your coping mechanism behavior? So let's say you chose to go and be by yourself in your room, close the door, isolated, cut people off. This, unfortunately, was a benefit for you in that you could maybe self-soothe. You could find a way that you could create a little personal universe of safety. So you stopped taking risks. You stopped trying to have interactions with other people because perhaps you were afraid of what might happen. And this self-soothing mechanism, this coping mechanism, became your strategy, not just for your childhood, but for your entire life. And this is what we want to change. So whatever your coping mechanism was, whatever you did, and you created a belief that this was the way that you had to be in order to self-soothe, in order to feel better. It's a mechanism that today we want to get rid of. We don't want you to carry that anymore. It's probably been decades since you've been doing this coping mechanism. Maybe you lashed out. Maybe you ate lots of food. Maybe you over-exercised. Who knows what your coping mechanism was, because we're not in a session, so I can't hear from you what it is that you did. But imagine whatever that was, that coping mechanism. Notice the benefit, and that's going to be like, what? There's a benefit to this? There's a benefit to this. You chose to do this to save yourself. This was how you took care of yourself, because clearly no one was going to take care of you. That was the other piece of this issue. So let's just say, for the sake of pursuing this, that you isolated yourself, that you cut yourself off from other people, and you created a belief in order to feel safe, in order to feel happy, in order to feel loved, I need to isolate myself. Now you can hear how ridiculous that is, but many of us carry this belief. Many of us believe whatever the coping mechanism was how we were going to gain what it is we really wanted, whether that be love, protection, caring, etc. So this is a deep exercise. This is one that often would take a while to get through, and I'm kind of speeding it up here. But I want you to take the time in your journal or in your recording of this exercise to really delve into it, really look at all the steps, really ask yourself, what is it that was the benefit of this coping mechanism? What did I think I was going to get out of it? And you'll see it comes back around to getting what you wanted, to getting a sense of self, a sense of love, a sense of safety from whatever this mechanism was. This is a false belief system. This is something that probably didn't serve you a whole lot when you were a child, but those days are over. And you've carried this for decades. You've carried this belief. We're going to break that today. We're going to stop the belief system. Are you ready? So, in your own words, with your own issue, in whatever it is that you were trying to attain by doing this coping mechanism, this is what we're going to do. We're going to repeat 3 times doing certain hand motions. So the first one is opening up your arms, and you're going to hold the lie first. So feel the heaviness of the lie, that you need to isolate yourself in order to feel loved. You can hear the absurdity of that, but you definitely carried that. Again, this is just an example. I feel the weight. Do you? So what we're going to do is slowly bring your arms together, and we're going to bring it into our chest. But wait, we're going to open our arms. I just was showing you what was coming. So you're going to say, repeat after me, I no longer need to believe.
I no longer need to believe.
That I need to feel.
That I need to feel.
Bringing your arms closer together now. Alone.
Alone.
Isolated.
Isolated.
In my own fantasy world.
In my own fantasy world.
And now we're going to bring our hands to our heart. In order to feel. Repeat after me. In order to feel.
In order to feel.
Deep love.
Deep love.
Kindness.
Kindness.
Generosity.
Generosity.
And no more fear.
And no more fear.
So these are the real feelings that you were trying to get to with this false belief. And we're going to do that 3 times. Using your own languaging. I'm just going to say what comes to me, but feel free to use your own languaging. I no longer need to believe. That I need to feel. 3 words that speak to whatever it is you saw and felt. And then bringing your hands closer to your heart in order to feel. And these are the positive feelings and emotions that you wanted to bring in by doing these false beliefs. And feel your heart starting to warm up and expand. Last time, I no longer need to believe. That I need to feel whatever those feelings were. Feeling the lie, the intense toxicity of that, and bringing it into your heart space in order to feel and enjoy that warmth of caring, loved, peaceful, cared for, connected, community. And take a deep breath. So hopefully you're beginning to sense a shift. The next one, these are pressure points on your pinky. So it's just right along at the base of the pinky on either side, on both hands. And you're going to repeat this again 3 times, same thing. I no longer need to believe. That I need to feel. Your 3 words about how it was that you created what you thought was the right conditions in order to feel. And now you talk about the things you really do want to feel. This particular pressure point is connected right to the heart. So this is allowing you to change that sensibility. And again, repeat, I no longer need to believe. That I need to feel. The 3 words that you created for your reality that was a false narrative in order to feel whatever it was you truly wanted to feel. Loved, cared for, no longer alone. And the last time, I no longer need to feel. I no longer need to believe. That I need to feel. The 3 words that are holding you back in order to feel. The 3 words or more that speak to your true heart's desire. And the very last one is something that is an NLP exercise. So it's neuro-linguistic programming, if you've ever done that. So if I were looking at you, I would point at your eye, so that's what I'm doing. And I'm going to have you just follow with your eyes, not with your head, my circle. I no longer need to feel, I no longer need to believe that I need to feel, and you're following the tip of my finger. And allow yourself time to speak those words in order to feel, and you bring it back full center. Again, following just my finger, I no longer need to believe that I need to feel. Speak the words in order to feel. Try not to move your head, just your eyes. And the final one, I no longer need to believe that I need to feel. Whatever those words were, lost, confused, afraid, alone, in order to feel deep love, caring, joy, and my own true self. And you bring that to center. And those are the 3 exercises. So I'd encourage you to write these down, remembering an incident from your childhood, remembering what you did in order to cope, remembering what it was you were trying to attain by doing this coping, and then do the 3 exercises to reverse your false belief system. So I want to finish on counting your blessings, because honestly, this was an exercise just to get deeper into how we construct these barriers to feeling, these barriers to allowing ourselves to enjoy ourselves, to create a world for ourselves that is full of blessings, that is full of joy and deep peace and love and caring. Some of those were created in childhood, those barriers, as we pointed out, and others are much more recent. Others can just be, well, I'm old and, I want to do it my way, whatever that may be. So we have to watch our head. We have to watch our head so that we can feel into our heart. Because in order for us to have the life that we're meant to have, and it is our birthright to be happy, to be deeply satisfied with this incredible life that we have. All of us have had tremendous challenges and tremendous gifts that we often don't see. I, for one, often sit by myself and count my blessings. I'm healthy. I swim every day. My body's okay with that. I still have a part-time job. I have wonderful tenants that are really delightful people in my life. I have friends. I do women's groups where we get to encounter whatever it is that our blockages are and do art together. It's so important to count those blessings, because I could focus on any number of negative issues. Oh, I'm getting older, I can't do what I used to do, I don't have enough money, the whining that some of us unfortunately live in. And you know those people, and you know that within yourself, and it's hard to be around. You don't even want to be with your own self when that happens. It's so much nicer to be around somebody who counts their blessings, who sees that life can be wonderful. And don't go into the little statements, life is a bowl of cherries, or the cup is half full. I hate those kind of, whatever those are called, those phrases. It's much more important to be real, to be true to yourself, but to become more and more aware. And that requires honesty, and that requires breath, and that requires the willingness to sit with ourselves and ask ourselves those hard questions so that we can break through and live a better life. And that's why I'm speaking to you today. So I am going to leave you there. My name again is Pamela Astarte, and hope to see you next time.